Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please hit the subscribe. Now this start video. Chicago Fire Season 13, Episode 16. The Weight of Grief and the Strength of Brotherhood. The emotional toll of loss reverberated throughout Firehouse 51 in Chicago Fire Season 13, Episode 16, In the Rubble. While the episode centered on Chief Dom Pascal's struggle to cope with the sudden death of his wife, Monica, it also highlighted how grief manifests differently in those around him, particularly Violet Makami, who is still healing from her own trauma. Meanwhile, Jack Damon's return to the firehouse and the quiet solidarity of the team underscored the unspoken bonds that hold them together even in their darkest moments. Pascal's descent into anger and recklessness. Pascal's return to duty so soon after Monica's death was a red flag from the start. Though he insisted on being treated normally, his actions spoke louder than words. His decision to take unnecessary risks during the construction site rescue, stepping into a role that wasn't his, was the first sign that he wasn't thinking clearly. The team's concern grew as they watched their usually composed leader act impulsively, putting himself in danger as if testing his own limits. The real turning point came when the authorities closed the investigation into Monica's accident, ruling it a tragic malfunction of a traffic light, with no fault assigned to the other driver. For Pascal, this was unacceptable. His grief twisted into fury, and he lashed out publicly, calling the driver a killer and demanding his team revisit the scene for missed evidence. His uncharacteristic behavior forced Herman, Severide, and Kid into an uncomfortable position, balancing loyalty to their captain with the responsibility to protect the team from his deteriorating judgment. Severide's intervention, a risk to trust, but necessary. Severide, never one to shy away from hard truths, confronted Pascal directly when he learned his captain was planning to visit the other driver's home. The tension between them was palpable, Severide risking his standing with Pascal to pull him back from the edge. "You're not thinking straight," Severide told him, his voice firm but not unkind. "And if you keep going down this road, you're going to get yourself, or someone else, hurt." For a moment, it seemed Pascal might snap back, but something in Severide's words got through to him. He stepped back, though the pain in his eyes made it clear he wasn't letting go, just pausing. This moment was crucial, not just for Pascal's arc, but for Severide's growth as a leader. He had always been the maverick of Firehouse 51, but here, he proved he could be the voice of reason when it mattered most. Violet's parallel struggle, facing loss again. While Pascal's grief was explosive, Violet's was a quiet, simmering ache. The loss of Avon Hawkins still haunted her, and seeing Pascal unravel brought her own buried pain to the surface. She had spent months avoiding emotional vulnerability, even pushing Sam Carver away to shield herself from further heartbreak. But in this episode, something shifted. Alone in the ambulance bay, Violet began writing a letter to Carver, words she couldn't bring herself to say out loud. The scene was subtle but powerful, showing her tentative steps toward healing. Whether she'll actually send the letter remains to be seen, but the act of writing it was a breakthrough. Jack Damon's return, a glimmer of normalcy. Amid the heaviness of Pascal's storyline, Jack Damon's full reinstatement to Firehouse 51 provided a lighter subplot. After floating between stations, Damon was eager to return to his old team, and Severide had been advocating for him. However, Pascal's emotional state had delayed the decision. Once Pascal regained some clarity, he finally approved Damon's transfer, a small but significant moment that showed Pascal still cared about his team, even in his grief. Damon's reunion with his colleagues, particularly his growing connection with paramedic Lizzie Novak, offered a hopeful counterbalance to the episode's darker themes. The funeral, a silent show of support. The episode's most poignant moment came at Monica's funeral. Pascal had kept the service private, not asking anyone from 51 to attend. Yet, as he stood alone by the casket, The camera pulled back to reveal the entire firehouse lined up at the back of the church in full dress uniform. No words were exchanged. None were needed. Their presence said everything. We're here. You're not alone. It was a masterful display of Chicago Fire's core theme. Family isn't just about blood. It's about who stands with you when the world falls apart. What comes next? Pascal's journey through grief is far from over. His momentary step back from vengeance doesn't mean he's healed, only that he's beginning to recognize the danger of his own actions.